the global threats impact us at a local level. The economies of the world are integrated. If the stock exchange in Malaysia collapses, it's going to affect Wall Street. If Wall Street collapses, Chile collapses. That's the reality of our economic system. But more importantly, pandemics don't carry passports. And I don't think there's anybody in this room from any country that wasn't affected by the recent pandemic. Now, it's very interesting that when I did an article on the pandemic at the beginning and said we cannot have a vaccine apartheid world. And in preparation, I called Jonas Salk's son. Jonas Salk was the guy who created the Salk vaccine that ended the scourge of polio. And I said, what is the spirit that your father used to create the cooperation? And he directed me to an interview that his father had with a great journalist, Edward R. Murrow, who asked him, who owns the patent on the polio vaccine? He said, the people own the patent. You can't patent the sunlight. Now, that spirit had such an impact that the United States and the Soviet Union, behind the scenes, encouraged scientific cooperation to address polio. And I looked at what we did with COVID. It was dominated by market forces alone. That, I think, was unacceptable. So you just take public health issues, public survival issues. They're local and they're global. You can't separate them. Just think of in the middle of the 17th century in Central Europe, Catholics and Protestants were slaughtering each other about whose interpretation of the gospel of Jesus was better. That's pretty striking, isn't it? And in order to separate them, a bunch of wonks, people like ourselves, got together in Westphalia and created the modern state to address an issue of how to separate people. But that's not the issue we face today. The issue we face today is how do we see our common interest and work together. But the institutions that we're working with arose from a problem of the 17th century. And that's why this moment in time in which reforming the international order using human security as a tool is so important. Because today our issue is how do we come together, not how do we become separate.
Thank you.